Shabbat Shalom and Happy Hanukkah. This week, of course, is Shabbat Chanukah, a very special Hanukkah, which makes for a very long service because we've got Hallel and also we add in the Al Hanisim, and it's also Shabbat, and also makes for a pretty long Birkat HaMazon as well. But we love it because Hanukkah is a great holiday. But enough about Hanukkah. Let's talk about this week's Torah portion. One of my favorites because it is the Shabbat on which my wife and I had our Ufruf. Also, it's just a great story. It's such a good story that, in fact, Andrew Lloyd Webber swiped it and made a very successful Broadway musical out of it, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which when I was in college I saw on Broadway, starring none other than David Cassidy from the Partridge Family. Very memorable. It's a great story. I think most of you know the story of Joseph and his brothers, but there is something very strange about this week's Torah portion, Vayeshev, in that there's a chapter stuck in the middle of this story about Yehuda and Tamar. It seems to be a total non sequitur from what's before it and what comes after it. And the only real connection seems to be that Yehuda is one of the brothers of Joseph. If you remember the story, Yehuda has a son who is married to Tamar. That son dies before Tamar is able to have a child, and as such, the next youngest son is required to marry her. He doesn't want to do that, and God strikes him down, and Tamar then is again left a widow, and Yehuda says, I have another son. When he grows up, I will let him marry you. We don't know what his intentions were exactly, but that's what he tells her. She finds out that the son has grown up after many years and that Yehuda has in fact not given her that son to marry. And so she sort of puts together a ruse and tricks Yehuda into having relations with her, and she becomes pregnant. Of course, he's incensed, thinking, my goodness, she cheated, she should have been waiting for my son, and then she reveals what really happened, and he agrees that she, in fact, was more in the right than he was. It's a very strange story, stuck in the middle, but it is the offspring are of this relationship end up being the progenitors of none other than King David. So, very interesting message that sometimes something that seems to be totally out of place and surprising and doesn't seem to fit sometimes provides us with something pretty amazing and special. And I think that goes beyond our Torah portion and goes to our lives as well. This week at Bethel, the Heights Synagogue, we mark the following Yortzites: Joseph Fox, Samuel Susskind, Rachel Margolis, Alexander Zeisler, Henry Tepper, Nat Slobody, Louis Eifer, Robert Mittman, David Davis, Helen Citron, Bernard Lipsis, Ginda Rausa Bat Baruch Yosezevich, and Lenki Vamos. Wishing everybody, again, Shabbat Shalom and a happy Hanukkah.